Welcome back to our 3:30 session.
Yeah.
With Eric. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Eric Hecker. Eric's a man who's relentlessly pursuing the truth. I had the pleasure of meeting Eric last year. It was one of the highlights of the conference for me, was meeting Eric and learning so much about the Antarctic research station. And this man has a tremendous amount of knowledge of this particular facility. He has a background, he's formerly was in the Navy, and then he's more recently served as a contractor for Raytheon as a firefighter and plumber at the Antarctic Research Station. In fact, I just learned that he has a PhD in plumbing, heating, and drainage. I mean, my PhD is in post-hole digging, so there. But Eric confirmed for us that these large, massive, public-facing, publicly funded science programs, in this case by the National Science Foundation, have a dual nature. They have a shadow side that the public is not aware of. And Eric, because of his attention to detail as a firefighter and plumber at the research station, he had to read all the manuals, if I remember correctly. And he saw things in the manuals that did not compute with what he thought the real mission of the ice cube neutrino detector was. And he realized it didn't just have a passive detection function, it also had some active directed energy capacity that we had never heard about. And I'm sure he's going to enlighten us with more. I'm told he has a book in the works. So eventually we will look forward to seeing that. But without further ado, I give you Eric Hecker.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me from the King family. I really appreciate the time that you guys give me. I'm going to start off with a quick little video clip. Some of you may have seen this before. It's kind of an old one, but I think it really sets the stage for the direction that I want this conversation to go today. So we'll fire that up real quick. I have to tell you now, I know who's seen it. No, something of it. That is the network from 1975, and boy, was that foreshadowing for the time period that it was produced in. It is my intention today to agitate you. I want you to leave here mad because we've been wronged. None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. Quote from Goth. As Simeon stated, my name is Eric J. Hecker, and I'm honored to be sharing this information with you today. As a former U.S. Navy serviceman and Raytheon employee who spent an entire year at the South Pole Station in Antarctica, I've seen things that most people can't even imagine. My journey started early. I was involved in remote viewing experiments as part of the Stargate program during my childhood, which opened my eyes to the hidden capabilities of the human mind and advanced technologies. Later, after serving in the Navy, I worked as a plumber and firefighter at one of the most remote outposts on Earth, where I had access to the entire facilities. It was there that I uncovered evidence of sophisticated directed energy weapons systems being used in ways that go far beyond public knowledge. Systems with the potential of global influence, from seismic events, mind manipulation, faster-than-light communications, and more. I've testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee and AARO, and spoken on platforms like The Sean Ryan Show, Redacted, and Gaia about these revelations, risking everything to bring the truth to light. As a whistleblower, my goal is to expose the realities of these technologies and their implications for humanity. In this presentation, I will start by introducing directed energy weapons and then take you through their history in timeline order, focusing on U.S. developments, including extremely low-frequency systems and neutrino-based technologies like those I've witnessed in Antarctica. I will also share with you a recent letter from an individual that provides critical insights into the exotic origins and cover-ups surrounding advanced technologies like directed energy weapons. We'll wrap up with a look at the future. Thank you for joining me on this eye-opening journey. Directed energy weapons, or DEWs, are advanced systems that deliver concentrated energy to a target without using traditional projectiles like bullets or missiles. Instead, they harness electromagnetic radiation, such as lasers, and now I learned today about masers, microwaves, radio frequencies, or particle beams to cause damage, disruption, or denial effects. At their core, directed energy weapons work by generating and directing energy through amplifiers and focusing mechanisms. Lasers, for example, use stimulated emission of radiation to produce a coherent beam of light that can be precisely aimed over long distances. Microwaves operate by exciting water molecules in a target, creating heat or interfering with electronics. These weapons offer advantages like speed of light delivery, low cost per shot, and minimal collateral damage compared to kinetic weapons. In the U.S., development has been driven by the Department of Defense, with programs emphasizing both lethal and non-lethal applications for everything from anti-drone defense to crowd control. However, as I've experienced firsthand in Antarctica, some directed energy weapons extend into exotic realms, like extremely low-frequency waves that penetrate deep into the Earth. While publicly framed as defensive or scientific tools, their potential for offensive use raises serious ethical questions. Now let's dive into the history, starting from the very beginning. The story of directed energy weapons begins in ancient times, long before modern technology. It has been said in 2012 BC, during the siege of Syracuse, the Greek mathematician Archimedes is said to have invented the first directed energy weapon, a system of polished bronze mirrors that focused sunlight into a powerful heat ray to set Roman ships on fire from afar. Moving into the 20th century, directed energy concepts gained scientific traction. In the 1910s and 1920s, Nikola Tesla, the brilliant inventor working in the US, proposed a teleforce, or death ray, a particle beam weapon that accelerated charged particles to high velocities for destructive effect. Tesla claimed it could melt airplane engines from 250 miles away, as detailed in his 1934 New York Times interview, though he never built a working prototype due to funding issues. Then, in 1935, British engineer Robert Watson Watt investigated a radio wave death ray for the UK Air Ministry, which inadvertently led to the development of radar instead. In the US, early experiments with high-power radio waves began in the 1930s at facilities like the Naval Research Laboratory, focusing on electromagnetic interference. These efforts set the stage for microwave weapons. Tesla's ideas, rooted in American innovation, influenced later U.S. programs. And as a Raytheon alum, I've handled tech that echoes his particle beam visions. Precise, invisible, and devastating. During World War II, directed energy weapons saw experimental pushes on both sides. In the 1940s, Nazi Germany developed concepts like the Rheotron, an X-ray beam intended to disable aircraft engines, as captured in U.S. Army technical reports from 1945. Though prototypes were limited by power constraints, they represented early particle beam attempts. On the Allied side, the U.S. began exploring microwave weapons through the Radiation Laboratory at MIT, which advanced radar but also studied high-energy pulses for jamming enemy electronics. Post-war, the U.S. captured German scientists via Operation Paperclip, integrating their knowledge into American programs. This era marked the shift from speculative to engineered directed energy weapons, with the U.S. emerging as the leader. My own short military background reminds me how these wartime innovations paved the way for classified systems I encountered. In the 1950s and 1960s, the U.S. made groundbreaking strides in laser technology, the cornerstone of modern directed energy weapons. In 1960, Theodore Maiman at Hughes Research Laboratories in California invented the first Ruby laser, a coherent light beam capable of precise energy delivery. This enabled focused strikes at the speed of light. The U.S. military quickly funded laser weapon research through the Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA, testing gas dynamic lasers for anti-missile roles by the mid-1960s. Meanwhile, the Navy explored high-energy lasers for ship defense. These developments focused on lethality and accuracy, with early tests at White Sands Missile Range. As a former Navy man, I appreciate how these lasers evolved into the ship-mounted systems we see today, but they also hint at the covert applications I've whistleblown about. In the 1970s, non-lethal directed energy weapons and extremely low-frequency systems, ELF, were brought into focus for the U.S. In 1972, the Navy initiated Project Sanguine, later renamed ELF, to build a communication network using 3 to 30 hertz waves that penetrate deep into the ocean for submarine messaging. Operational by 1989 in Wisconsin and Michigan, it transmitted signals globally with minimal power loss, as detailed in Navy reports. While officially for comms, some declassified documents suggest ELF's potential for geophysical effects, like inducing vibrations in the earth. The U.S. also advanced microwave weapons, with the Air Force testing high-powered microwaves for electronic disruption. This decade emphasized versatility, blending communication with potential weaponization, something I've seen blurred in Antarctic ops. In the 1980s, President Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, accelerated U.S. directed energy weapon development. Launched in 1983, SDI invested billions in space-based lasers and particle beams to intercept Soviet missiles, including the X-ray laser tested at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Ground-based systems like the mid-infrared advanced chemical laser, called Miracle, were trialed at White Sands in 1985, destroying a Titan missile booster. The Navy developed the free electron laser for ship defense. ELF systems were fully deployed by 1989. These efforts showcased U.S. dominance in high-energy tech, but also raised arm race concerns. From my perspective, SDI's legacies include the hidden capabilities I observed at the South Pole Station. The 1990s saw U.S. focus on non-lethal directed energy weapons for peacekeeping. In 1997, the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directive was established, developing the Vehicle-Mounted Active Denial System prototype, a millimeter wave heat ray for crowd control. Laser dazzlers, like the phaser rifle, were tested to temporarily blind threats without permanent harm, complying with the 1995 protocol on blinding laser weapons. The Air Force advanced high-power microwaves for precision strikes. ELF facilities continued operations. This era balanced ethics with efficacy. But as a whistleblower, I know non-lethal labels can mask more aggressive uses. Entering the 2000s, United States directed energy weapons became operational. Raytheon finalized the active denial system in 2000, a microwave beam causing intense but reversible heat sensation, deployed to Afghanistan in 2010, but later recalled. The airborne laser, the YAL-1, on a Boeing 747, destroyed ballistic missiles in 2010 testing, per Missile Defense Agency reports. The Navy tested the electromagnetic railgun, a hybrid kinetic directed energy weapon. ELF was claimed to have been decommissioned in 2004, but I found it operating at the South Pole Station in 2010-11. But its tech influenced successors. In the 2010s, the U.S. deployed directed energy weapons in real-world scenarios. In 2014, the Navy installed the Laser Weapon System, LAWS, on the USS Ponce, a 30-kilowatt fiber laser that downed drones during Persian Gulf exercises. The Counter-Electronics High-Power Microwave Advanced Missile Project, CHAMP, was tested in 2012, disabling electronics with EMP bursts from a cruise missile. In Antarctica, the IceCube Neutrino Observatory, completed in 2010 at the South Pole, detects high-energy neutrinos using a cubic kilometer of ice embedded with sensors, officially for astrophysics. But as I've revealed, its array enables directed energy functions like earthquake induction. The 2020s have accelerated United States directed energy weapons adoption amid rising threats. In 2020, the Air Force unlocked Thor, a microwave system to swarm drones with EMPs. Lockheed Martin's Helios, a 60-kilowatt laser, was integrated into Navy destroyers in 2021 for anti-drone and anti-missile roles. The Army's Directed Energy Maneuver Short-Range Air Defense mounted 50-kilowatt lasers on Strykers in 2022 tests. These modern systems focus on cost-effectiveness and rapid deployment, reshaping warfare. In conclusion, as we look at the future of directed energy weapons, the U.S. is poised to lead with revolutionary advancements that could redefine global security and raise profound ethical dilemmas. By 2030 and beyond, expect integrated hybrid systems combining lasers, microwaves, and particle beams on drones, satellites, and hypersonic platforms, with power outputs exceeding 1 megawatt for long-range strikes. Development like compact fusion power sources will overcome current limitations in energy supply, enabling continuous operation. ELF-inspired low-frequency tech may evolve into non-invasive mind-influenced tools, while phased array systems, like expanded versions of IceCube, could allow undetectable through-Earth targeting for surveillance or disruption. As I've witnessed in Antarctica, these weapons blur lines between defense, science, and control. We must demand transparency to prevent misuse, ensuring directed energy weapons serve humanity rather than hidden agendas. There's no children in this room?
And that's
Excellent. I'm going to read you a letter that came my way. It provides an insider's raw perspective on UFO ET disclosure, exotic technologies, and regressive forces blocking transparency. It is important because it connects directly to directed energy weapons, suggesting many such systems may originate from reverse-engineered off-world tech, and highlights the risk of mishandled disclosure leading to global conflict, echoing my own experiences with classified Antarctic systems. This is the letter. This is not my words. I'm sharing it with you. I am a private citizen military historian, mystic, and analyst taking on water at the cracked hull waterline. All sources so far have zero evidence that can hold up in court, and that's by design. The massive amount of circumstantial evidence, in contrast, is astounding. Disclosure, in some measure, is inevitable in the next 15 years, and no matter who gets it done, it will be horrendous, disrupting, and messy. If not handled right, it could start World War III with official threat narratives. There's precious few of us mixed bag, science, military, spook, oligarch, and historian old-timers around DC who want genuine UFO, ET, advanced exotic technology clarity instead of World War III. Around 4 disparate groups exist, I presume. Some members live elsewhere around the world, but coordinate in DC. Sadly, there's little impetus to do anything solid by the United States government or intelligence community officialdom. Just more hollow testimony, Congress and in public, more runaround in hot air. That only goes so far. You need hard proof in public. A defense technology dog and pony expo with hovering black craft on the National Mall with free beer and a Marine Corps band. ET contractors need to be rolled out too, on the video at least, and by some accounts, they are willing and ready. The real McCoy... There's no kids in here, right? I'm reading this man's words. The real McCoy of a fucking vaudeville show. The White House must meet an official statement with the Joint Chiefs in tow live. This scenario has been dangerously discussed since the 1950s, but they kick many cans down the road. People have died like dogs in a ditch. Plus, we need quiet and diligent international diplomacy that works. Leaders must clasp hands. Right now, it's a steep uphill battle in the rain, wind, ice, and snow. Most of the internal pushback is by our own people in power positions. All of this constitutes the tallest of orders. The deep state regressive faction. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. So I hear more congressional UAP hearings are in the works, but all sides are in on the game. It's always the same corrupt players, the ones that constantly interview themselves on News Nation, CNN, etc. Lou Elizondo, Tim Burchett, Senator Gillibrand, Rubio, Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Jim Semivan, Christopher Mellon, Avi Loeb, Gary Nolan, Jacques Vallée, etc. The new doc, Age of Disclosure, a limited intel, Chris Mellon, Soul Foundation, threat narrative movie says it all. Double down on nothing new. Chicken shit NDA-addled old men talking about very little. Yet they are official heroes to many, and there exists too much cognitive dissonance and ignorance by the public. I feel sad and deflated for everyone. It's a case of The Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen. Keep in mind that the world IQ average is really 80. The US military won't take people under 85. Most on the Hill, White House, and in the Pentagon would rather have World War III than meaningful disclosure, in my opinion. And I'm not alone in that grim assessment. The military-industrial complex, dirty laundry, congressional and corporate corruption are that bad. Disclosure is bad for business. Generals, admirals, and retired politicians have skin in the game and sit on corporate boards, trading exotic UFO tech between select groups in secret. a closed system loop like a steam engine. An old game going back to 1945. The OSS, Project Paperclip, and the German influence in our military-industrial corporations worldwide are all involved with reverse-engineered off-world tech, and they laugh about it while making trillions. Some may not know where the original tech came from, but they are still culpable. Plausible deniability and strict compartmentalization in this covert world is God. I've met 2 tech billionaires who bragged about it recently in London. Sure, some disclosure would be great for the world, they said, but not too much. Cold fusion energy for desalination in desert crops, for example. But too much is bad for the bottom line, bad for innovation. Corporate-run commerce with ET is all important. It's the biggest golden goose in history. In return, regressive polarity ETs get whatever their hearts desire. Anything at all, and in quantity. Where did quantum entanglement AI come from? GPS, drone warfare systems, longitudinal scalar frequency weapons, directed energy weapons, U.S. Army LRAD and enhanced soldier gear, neutrino tracking and deep space communications, nonlinear torsion physics, ballistic glass smartphones, Teflon, cling wrap, stealth tech, electromagnetic torsion field hull tech for the United States Navy, graphene tech, nanotech, everything. Metamaterials science. You guessed it. It's big business. The biggest. I told those dipshit tech billionaires that World War III would spoil their profits when we all die, but they seemed delusional and nonplussed. More insanity. Hubris. They only want to be a little bit pregnant. Anyone who deals with corporate private investments and Wall Street has skin in this game, including myself and all Mellons, DuPonts, Rockefellers, etc. All Americans vote for these US Gov a-holes too. We all use money in banks. We all use the fancy new technology gadgets, computers, AI, and Tesla cars with ignorant glee. We all have blood on our hands and irons in the fire. The average citizen of the world have benefited from reverse UFO engineering and ET commerce. Proton and frequency medical devices, nutrition, money markets, banking practices, nanite tech, LED lights, computers, advanced fabrics, Kevlar, carbon fiber, complex alloys, etc. Where does one point a finger now? Who's to blame? Well, we all are in actuality. Everyone who commits to ignorance and cognitive dissonance. Bigger problem? The ultra-classified exotic weapons arms race with the big 3 nations and 5 eye nations is even worse since the public is not aware of it and wouldn't believe it. We have the power to literally crack the earth in half, sink Japan underwater in hours, raise Europe to the ground using neutrino high-frequency tectonic plate weapons, and to boot, there's also hushed talk of a new weapon that can turn all carbon-based life into silica using matter transformation tech via frequency and light spectrum. Think in terms of the Sahara Desert. Yes, matter can be created, transformed, and destroyed. Our public science is wrong. We are also fighting in deep space, hence the missing black budget trillions. Space mining bill and the ever-growing military-industrial corporate intelligence complex? We are mercenaries, slaves with no wisdom, adrenaline junkies. And yet, we may all owe the US, European, UK, China, and Russian military-industrial complexes our very lives, since they also protected Earth from the very worst our universe has to offer. Our reality is a catch-22 situation of twisted, grandiose proportions. Be careful who you call the enemy. Yin-yang duality is a bitch. Trump and his dynamic cabinet don't give us a warm, competent feeling. My group, that is. But Trump is indeed a disruptor, and that's good. This is why my billionaire uncle, Tim Mellon, was his second biggest donor. Trump is the embodiment of forlorn hope via international chaos, the boiling crucible for true change. He and his wide-eyed merry men are upending an amoral deep state few understand, and ethics, morals, and compassion are first-world luxuries only. They are mere perspectives, but I see disarray too. Arrogant, the White House has no impetus to disclose anything useful, but I hope I'm wrong. Most are drunk on power. They are children in a cocaine candy store armed with scant knowledge on UFO or ET history. Look at Musk and Hegseth, just giggling schoolboys. Tech oligarch diplomacy at its finest. Vance is a big-mouth hillbilly idiot Bible thumper. Europe hates us. Signalgate is an arbiter of what's to come. Ineptitude on a grand scale. But again, I hope I'm wrong. War with Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea is inevitable, and the hawks want it. Good for profits and careers. The Chi-Coms are literally insane and insanely jealous of the West. Ditto North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan. Totalitarian and religious fundamental ideology are all powerful, all corrupting, all misleading. Think about Hitler at the very end in 1945, when he wanted all of Germany burned to the ground, dead. The USA will win World War III because we have the lion's share of classified weapons and space platforms. But the question is, at what cost? Trump will try to get Putin to fight China with us. We have always been friends with Russia on the secret UFO ET reality since 1942. The Russians and Chinese hate one another. It's racial, cultural, and ideological. Mongol hordes on the steppes. China wants Siberian, Manchurian resources and Lake Baikal for water. China is dry. Plus, Russia owes them big bucks, a Wagnerian mess. The big three nations all have different sets of ET allies and enemies. Thousands of star nations, not 3 or 4, all polarities. It's always been a dog's breakfast of agendas for the last 100 years or so. ET has advanced our technology for the greater good, but also helped us arm ourselves to the teeth to fight their proxy wars. All wars are proxy ones. Some regressive star nations would love it if we killed each other off. Oh, yes. Earth would be legally up for grabs by the strongest party under loophole-rich cosmic law. The positive ETs seem very weak and ineffective, but spiritually top-notch. What good is that? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Too little, too late. As a galactic star nation ourselves, in secret, we have done little to better our situation, and we keep most of the world dumbed down. We are ignorant, greedy, superstitious, and warlike, and are considered mostly a lost cause by higher dimensional star nations. A failed experiment of 12-strand DNA F-tards, easily manipulated and coerced by roving galactic mafias. How nice. How fashionable. I have to wonder aloud if the long-term complex Homo sapiens experiment went too far. A case of too hot to handle DNA-wise like the dinosaurs. An overly hot, spicy mess of galactic hybrid stew boiled over. Probably. All official U.S. government, intelligence community, Pentagon disclosure efforts to date. Too little impetus, too weak, too late in effort. Unless there is a life or death need for disclosure, it will never happen via officialdom. Never. Academia as a whole is mostly mainstream, hive-minded, and useless. Ditto the corrupt media. Our history is a big, round Swiss cheese wheel with huge chunks missing. Holes and lies. Sumerian clay tablets missing by the score. The Baghdad Museum raided again for dangerous knowledge. U.S. law only protects the rich and powerful, corporations and politicians. The law does not have jurisdiction over USAPs and corporations that are under NatSec protocols. Military law only goes so far, and results are kept secret. Not really an organized movement by any stretch. The public disclosure arena is an uncoordinated, backbiting circus with 100,000 rings led by hubristic messiahs, stiff, limited mindset conservative fact checkers, former U.S. Gov officials proffering desperate counterintelligence, inept do-gooder crystal-armed hippies, a few scattered decent thinkers and philosophers, and a deluge of sinister con men. And all are ego-driven ringmasters under bright YouTube social media lights. Lovely. It's mostly a conglomerate of useless monkey-see, monkey-do rhetoric and regurgitated tall sea tales for the most part. But there's a good amount of logical information and history if one has 50 years of spare time to connect esoteric dots and separate lies from fiction using one's potent psionic skills. Oh, and don't forget to read the 60-pound volume of Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teaching of All Ages. All is a catch-22 scenario. Few listen, fewer take the time to learn. That letter was sent by John Warner IV, son of the former Secretary of the Navy, who I have communicated with for the last few years, and he has helped me connect a lot of dots. So I don't know if you folks are familiar with him, but he's definitely in the mix.
A question.
Let me wrap up some stuff.
Something in that quote from him, it might have happened twice. But when you said aggressive star nations, was that earlier in the quote?
He might have said it twice.
Can I ask the date of the letter?
He sent that to me in April, I think. Yeah. Warner's letter serves as a stark warning about the entrenched interests suppressing advanced technologies, including those powering directed energy weapons, and underscores the need for genuine public disclosure to avoid catastrophe. As we conclude this exploration of directed energy weapons from ancient mirrors to futuristic neutrino systems and incorporating insights from John Waters' letter on the exotic tech underpinnings, the picture is clear. These tools hold immense power for both progress and peril. My experiences in Antarctica and Warner's revelations highlight how directed energy weapons, often rooted in hidden ET-derived advancements, are wielded by shadowy forces that prioritize control over humanity's benefit. We must push for full transparency, ethical oversight, and international cooperation to harness this energy for good, preventing misuse that could ignite global conflicts. Humanity is currently in Plato's cave, bickering about what the shadows mean, while too many claim to have seen the light and now offer new insights on the shadows. But know this, if one has actually seen the light, they know there's nothing to be gained from engaging in the lies of the shadow makers by arguing with the enslaved. Those that have seen the light know that the best way to help is to go after those that fan the flames of lies and deceit. Please remember, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Thank you for your time. Anybody want to do a mic thing?
I could talk about.
Well, they want to get it on recording.
Yeah. Please go. So, another on it. How do you know the neutrino detector is also a weapon of some kind?
From the documentation from the operator's manual that states it as such for its transmit capacity and its power output side.
What is the power output?
2,047 volts per dom. There's 5,160 of them in a phased array capacity.
What does that mean in terms of watts? Do you know?
I don't. I'm not a calculator. It's a lot of power, which seems to exceed the power supply that is at the facility.
They talk two questions in one. Do you have an opinion on the Paradise Valley and Palo Verde fires being caused by direct energy? And is it true that blue roofs don't get affected by it?
I have no idea about the blue roof thing. It's super curious, but situations like that beg the question is, what is the level of our technology? The problem with these situations is that one of the main reasons that they love functioning in this direction is the term plausible deniability. So these weapons provide 100% plausible deniability.
Clean tree bridge that built it.
Understood. You know, this is the question is, what can these things do? I get people a lot of times, they come at me sideways and they go, oh, so what you're trying to say is that all earthquakes are, manufactured. I've never said that. I appreciate that earthquakes are natural, but so are microwaves. Microwaves are natural. I have one in my kitchen. You have one in yours. We have technology now that allows us to reap the benefit of natural occurring things. Oh, go right ahead. Oh, he's got the mic coming at you.
There's he just holding like this here.
This one? Yeah, absolutely. Ta-da.
Okay. A lot of what you said kind of went over my head because I don't have a lot of government experience, right? So with respect to targets, targets being regions, land, water, craft, did you talk about people being individuals being targets?
I believe all of the above. I mean, that's just, it's all of the things that you would normally use regular weaponry to control or manipulate. This is just a modern version. They're just non-kinetic weapons. Can you use it against the geography? Yes. Can you use it against the weather? Yes. Can you use it against crowds? Yes. Can you use it against individuals? Yes.
How would you use it against individual?
An LRAD device is a long-range acoustical device, and it can either be set to wide or singular. It's a device that if they wanted to, if you were in a crowd and they wanted to talk into a microphone and shoot that sound to the entire crowd or just you, they can do that.
Shoot a sound?
Yes.
What about an idea?
If you're in the crowd, right, and you don't know that I'm outside the crowd and I'm shooting it at you, I just did what you suggested. You would hear my voice, and if no one else hears it, you'd feel a little nutty.
Yeah.
There you go. Welcome to LRAD.
Okay, so this is totally...
This exists. You can go on YouTube right now. There's a YouTube channel called Genesis, GENSYS, formerly the LRAD Corporation. They advertise everything their product does. It's for sale.
To manipulate people's thoughts?
No, they don't state that.
That's what it does.
They say that it's for emergency communications. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hailing device. They'll say, oh, if you need to shoot sound really far in case of an emergency and make sure someone hears it. Yeah, everything is rolled out as positive. I mean, if we believe everything everybody tells us, the world's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think, Simeon's got his own mic.
Hey, Eric, thank you very much. What was your experience like testifying for AARO and the UAP task force?
It was Senate Intelligence Committee and AARO.
Senate. So what was your experience like with those individuals talking to them? How did they receive your information?
The folks at AARO, albeit nice gentlemen, it was super over their head. It was like they were put to the task of investigating a topic they didn't know anything about from the start. So for them, it was more like a kindergarten class when I went to the Senate Intelligence Committee, at that time, I did not know Kirk McConnell. That was who was interviewing me. I thought he was a really smart scientist. He was super enthused about all of the information that I was putting to him, and he was kind of like the interpreter for all of the rest of the people in the room. I was communicating with him. We would go back and forth, just connecting the dots, escalating things to other levels of understanding. The long and short of both of the meetings together, once the official investigation conversation stopped, it was basically these guys turning to me and being like, Eric, information that we're getting from you and from other people, it seems extremely apparent that there absolutely are rogue factions that started within our own government and are now operating completely without oversight. What do we do about it? That's basically what was left on the table. What do we do now that we're completely aware that these technologies are in the hands of 100% rogue factions? Want a mic up?
So what is John Warner the Fourth's background, and what would lend to his credibility?
His father being John Warner III, former Republican senator of the state of Virginia and former Secretary of the Navy, which put his father in charge of Operation Deep Freeze, which is the Antarctic program. So because of John's access to his father, and he traveled regularly with him and was very close in all these conversations, John asked his father at one point prior to his death, because John's very intrigued about the Antarctic stuff, and he said, what's with the Antarctic program and the submarines? And his father told him that the submarines were down there boring under the ice with steam and stuff like that. And John said to his father, what was the purpose of that? And his father's answer was space operations. So when you talk about being the son of the Secretary of the Navy and decades of access to the people that his father had, and the community that John lives in, and the information that he's given me previously that I have found to be accurate, I consider him a treasure trove of information. And he's kind of a black sheep in his own community because he's one of the only billionaires that I know that's happy to thumb his nose at the other ones.
Did you have contact with them based on your experience working at AARO? Was there a link there?
He reached out to me afterwards when I became a whistleblower to assist me with connecting dots.
That was my... Since we're a UFO, everything you said is fantastic.
Can you speak into the mic, sir? Speak
in the mic.
Oh, I thought it was. Since we're a UFO-related event, did you see anything strange in the year you were at in Antarctica?
I did, actually. My winter season, I was walking back from what's referred to as the dark sector, where the ice cube neutrino detector is located, the South Pole Telescope, and it was a relatively windy day. So the snow was blowing. It moves across the surface. On this particular day, the snow got up to about this high, and it moves like a river, and you're in it, but it's snow. I had been walking for quite some time and got concerned that I had lost my bearings and didn't want to freeze to death. So I kind of was trying to get up on my tiptoes to look over the snow. And when I did, everything above that was clear. So once I kind of popped up and was trying to find the elevated station, my destination goal, from my left, which officially at that location is what we refer to as grid north. And you have to consider the South Pole is at 9,300 feet of elevation, and there are no mountains. So this is a great example. Like, how far is it from horizon to horizon? Okay, it's a big distance. When I looked up, I saw something coming from grid north that basically went from that horizon to that horizon like that. This massive flaming fireball. And I mean, literally, it went. So somebody calculate that speed for me. That's how fast it's going. Horizon to horizon. I don't know what it was.
Wait.
You're welcome.
What was your job in the Navy?
I was set up for a fire control technician on a Los Angeles class submarine. I was training for that at the time. Weapon systems.
What's that, Sue? Okay, I just got to add my 2 bits. You said there are rogue factions operating in the government. There is a rogue faction running the government.
I wouldn't argue that.
That's what I just had to say.
I would say the problems that we, the people, have is a combination of both of those things.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Anybody? Oh, here we go. Oh, let's see how fast you can run over there.
What about this? How many people decided? How many
I can hear you.
How many people actually were stationed there over the years, and how come you're the only whistleblower or person talking about it?
Well, I guess I would say average. So my summer season, there was, I think we had about 280 personnel on site for the summer season. My winter season was 49. Those are pretty standard numbers because it's the current capacity of the facilities for each season. So they pretty much just max it out. What was the second part? Oh, why am I the only one bringing this up?
Because there's been how many years of people going?
Yeah, totally understood.
60 per year.
Anybody who's ever been in the service understands the term mandatorily volunteered. So once I started connecting the dots with former crew members and information was gathered, I'll just put it clearly. My crew is suffering Havana syndrome-like symptoms. What Raytheon did to us is appalling. Because these are unregulated, monopolized technologies, it was detrimental to the physical health of myself and my crew. When we came to that understanding, they decided I was the right guy. I couldn't disagree with them.
So why aren't you guys like contacting an attorney like Daniel Sheehan and putting the thing out there?
Because I would suggest Daniel Sheehan's part of the factions that are opposed to me getting this truth out. I don't like lawyers. Lawyers have never really helped people out that much. They have kind of a bad reputation. That's my opinion. How come Daniel Sheehan never reached out to me?
You think the other side of it, cover?
Yes,
Aha. Okay, why are you alive?
because they're scared of me and my team. It's great when you're right and you're on the right side.
Okay, that's why they would want to kill you that.
Yeah.
My question, when you're working with the government, have you been in a skiff?
I've been in 2 skiffs, sir. Wow. June of 23 for the Senate Intelligence Committee and AARO.
Anything else you can tell us about that?
I can tell you anything other than the address of the AARO facility and the name of the 2 investigators. Any other question you got, I'll fire away.
I know usually what's discussed in the skiff isn't shared publicly, so that's why I didn't know what question.
Oh, understood. Most people that go into the skiff are under some sort of restriction prior to going in, and that just simply allows them to speak freely in there, and then when they exit, they have to shut their mouth again. I'm not that guy. I actually spoke all of my truth prior to going in there. And then the government just wanted to confirm what I said in their officialdom mode.
Okay, and you shared a lot of that information.
I shared every bit of it for years prior to going there.
Hey, Eric, after the lecture, I need you to meet me so I can administer an attestation and have you sign an inadvertent disclosure statement.
Good luck with that.
That's a joke.
I know.
Good job of getting yourself plenty of time for question.
Helps when you don't know how to produce it.
Sorry, Eric. We were just doing a quick little interview with that. So I'm sorry,
No worries.
because I think the work you're doing is important. So I don't know if you covered this or not. And I'm going to have you as a guest so we can talk about some of these things you said before we left were very interesting to me. Did you talk about HARP? And I know that on some of these high strangeness ranches, they talk about phased arrays underground and maybe energy weapons being buried in the United States, maybe in some of these ranches that we're talking about that maybe Bob Bigelow, Howard Hughes, and others know about. Do you think that's a possibility?
I do. So first and foremost, I did not technically use the term HARP in the conversation today, but I will state that the ice cube neutrino detector in its transmit mode, it's HARP. That's all it is. A standard HARP system, like the one in Gakona, Alaska, is a phased array transmitter on the surface of the Earth that has length and width as its dimensions. The ice cube neutrino detector simply adds depth, 2 miles. So science folk can appreciate that adds magnitude to it. Now you have length, width, and depth. It was like the spirals. Once you keep adding and adding and adding, you get exponential gains. So yes, the ice cube neutrino detector is effectively a magnitude greater than HARP, and the ice cube neutrino detector is a kilometer by a kilometer by a kilometer. They're going to make it 10 times bigger. It's already slated to occur. National Science Foundation has given it the green light. That thing needs to be 10 times bigger.
And what do you think that is going to take? We know it's not soldiers. We're supposed to. Because trust what we should do.
As you shouldn't.
Dean said that they were aware. Soldiers. I mean, we know soldiers were out there. We know that. So we have that landing site and sorry about that.
We had the guys from Oak Island out there with their ground penetrating radar, and they go to the landing site here in Elbert County, and it goes down to a certain depth and then goes completely black. They've never seen that before. Could there be an energy weapon or something?
Absolutely.
Like there,
could be is the safe thing, because it brings us right back to, if we the people are not aware of this technology, it is wholly unregulated, monopolized, and wielded by rogue factions. This is the problem, is that it's pay to play. Whoever can afford the tech wields the tech.
Maybe a silly question, but when you blow the whistle on something like this, do you just go say what you have to say and then go back to work the next day?
Yeah, I guess technically.
Yeah?
Yeah, until they got me fired, so I haven't been to work since January.
Oh, is that okay? All right.
I'd like to go back to work again.
Come on, guys.
Ouch. No. You got it.
Yeah. You know how you described once you were above the flowing snow, what would you call it? A burning mass, you said?
Oh, it was just like a river of snow. It's just sometimes it's down here.
That.
What I saw above it. It looked almost like the moon on fire, was tearing across the sky with a flaming trail behind it, and then a smoke trail that was probably twice the length of the flaming trail.
And then my question was going to be that, did others experience that while you were down there, or did anybody talk with you about what they saw?
No. I was one of the few people that had to go outside with regularity. A lot of people that go there just stay inside. But I had work to do in other buildings. Anybody else? You got your forms ready, Trey? Well, everybody, thank you very much for hearing me out. I will be around if anybody has any more questions. I'm happy to chat. Thank you very much.